You're about to listen to TADPOG, Tyler and Dave Play Old Games. It's a comedy video game podcast. We would like to stress that the hosts are not experts and are really just very crass commentators. Seriously, this is an explicit podcast that happens to talk about video games sometimes. So please enjoy this pretty okay podcast with Tyler and Dave.
Hello, Internet. Hello. And welcome.
I got a good drop on that one.
Hello. To another TADPOG podcast. That stands for Tyler and Dave and Ian Play Old Games. It's an old spun, artisanal podcast.
Grassroots.
Grassroots movement.
You like the grass. That's good. That's good.
Worker cast. It's a
Free range.
Blue
Free
collar
range
podcast. Free range.
Bootstraps. Somewhere.
Organic. So we talk about video games sometimes. The video game we're talking about this week, RoboCop 3. Have we done one or two? No.
Do
Should
they-
RoboCop 3.
do
The
they
best
exist?
one, some people, no one says. But before we dive into RoboCop 3, man, what you guys been up to? How you guys doing?
Good. How was everyone's Thanksgiving?
It's okay. It's all right.
Yeah, it was fine.
My sister and brother-in-law were supposed to come in, which would have been really cool. It would have been really nice to see them, but they got COVID right beforehand. I'm glad they tested and then
Yeah.
and they're doing better now. I
Good,
mean, they were
yeah.
fully vaxxed and boosted, and so I mean, it sucks still for them, but
Yeah.
I feel bad for them, but I'm also like, damn it. I wish I could have seen them because I was really looking forward
Yeah.
to seeing them.
Yeah, I've been hearing a lot of people talk about getting vaccinated, boosted, and still getting it and still feeling like shit. And everyone says, well, at least it wasn't what it would have been if I hadn't been vaxxed and boosted. And I think to myself, well, do we really know if it's worse or better? Because my dad, when he got it, because he keeps going to conventions and traveling and stuff, but he got it and he said he was really sick.
Yeah.
And he's fully, up to date. And he got really sick. And it's like, yeah, I remember when people got COVID early on, when the boosters first started coming out. And then when people would get COVID, they would be like, oh, well, I had it before and it was really mild or bad. And then this time it was really mild. Or I got COVID for the first time after my booster, but it wasn't that bad. I'm not hearing that now. I'm hearing I got really fucking sick, and it sucked. So I don't know. I don't know if our boosters are beating it or if we really are just getting it. If this is the toned down version.
Let's evolve 10
what.
million times.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that is true.
So, well, good. I'm glad. I'm sorry that your sister couldn't come see you, but I'm glad that your Thanksgiving was okay.
Yeah, I mean, it was still okay.
Otherwise,
Yeah, it was still. I mean, 8.
Yeah.
Plenty to be thankful for.
yeah, good.
I had a TikTok Thanksgiving. So I made
I don't know what that is.
I
But
made-
it does
you
not
did-
surprise
I
me.
made 3 recipes from TikTok.
You did this.
For
You
my
did this last
Thanksgiving.
year, didn't you?
I made for Christmas. I made the gross B. Dylan Hollis's bad food for the
Gotcha.
Christmas get together. I made the spaghetti O-ring, the bologna cake,
Right.
and the date cream. The date cream was good though.
I feel like we're playing Family Feud. I get to point at a board and it dings over. Ding! Tyler had a TikTok Thanksgiving. Number one answer.
I made deep fried deviled eggs. So
Fuck, yeah, that
panko
sounds
breaded
good.
deviled eggs. That turned out pretty well.
Cool.
I made Mexican street corn deviled eggs. Those
Is
really
it just
really turned
seasoned
out
like
well.
Mexican street corn or what?
I dipped the eggs in tahini. So the egg white was covered in tahini.
Okay, love
and
tahini.
then in the yolks, I make the yolks with more tahini, fire roasted corn, cilantro, lime, all that kind of stuff, and then topped it with slice of
Shitloads of
jalapeno and stuff. Yeah, that worked out well. And then
Cool.
I made Christmas tree dip. So take the Christmas tree cakes, mash it up with sour cream, cream cheese, sugar, milk, cream. Then decorate it all with more of the same kind of sprinkles and stuff, and dip it with vanilla wafers. So that turned out pretty well.
Cool.
So,
Nice.
Yeah,
all
those all sound
interesting
good.
stuff.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, and then I had one Thanksgiving to go on Thanksgiving, and then Melissa's family on Saturday. It was nice.
That's nice.
Yep.
Yeah, I know you were dreading a potential
18
house visit.
Yeah. So, my aunt had a heart attack, so my parents went to visit her for
Oh
Thanksgiving.
my. Is
So,
she okay?
It all worked out. Yeah, she had like a 95% blockage. It's touch and go. She was in a lot of pain, but now she's good.
Okay.
So it all worked out that we decided not to have it because she had a heart attack, and that my parents went down there. So it all went the way it needed to go. They were
Good.
able to go, and
Ka.
yeah,
Ka is a wheel.
My dad did buy a possessed car.
Oh, right. Yeah, you sent a message about this. You're like, reminder, and I forgot.
Yeah.
I'm glad you remembered.
So I went over there today. Is like, you see my van? I was like, no, let's see your van. And it was regular looking blue, like Toyota van. He's like, yeah, it's supposedly it's possessed. I was like, what do you mean? So he told me this huge story. So what my dad does is he's been doing it as long as I can remember. He'll just drive around and look for cars in driveways, and if he likes one, he'll pull up and say, "Hey, you want to sell that car?" You know, if he sees it sitting on the side, out behind their house or out on the side, like just abandoned. Hey, you want to sell that car? I think I could do something with it.
We haven't had a blue Toyota van in over 50 years.
So he stopped and asked this woman, and again, like, Dad, what are you gonna expect when you just walk up to a stranger's house, is knocking their door and ask about their cars? Like, sometimes it's gonna get weird.
This is the way.
Yeah. So the woman, it takes her, he goes over there a few times. She won't answer her door. She just kind of yells at him through the door. I don't know. I don't know if I'm comfortable. And then every now and then he would check up. And then finally she was like, well, okay. Let me come out and I'll show you and I'll tell you about it. Okay. So out steps this, I guess, woman, but she's head to toe black clothes. She's put on like like a black shower cap and a black mask.
Were you with your dad at this time? Okay.
No.
Was she wearing shades?
He didn't say, but it wouldn't surprise me. Like, she cover herself in black, walks him out. She won't get close to the car. She's like, "Well, I gotta tell you, I'm not comfortable selling it because it's possessed." And Dad's like, "Okay, what? Someone died in it?" "Well, I saw a cat die underneath it, and then another cat died beside it, and I drove it after that, and afterward I got really sick. So it's possessed by those cats." He was like, "Okay, I'll take my chances on it, though." She's like, I don't know. And they go back and forth, and eventually she's like, "Okay,
I'm going to draw up this waiver.
yes."
Oh, shit.
Yes.
I love it.
She will sell it to him on the condition that she brings a notary. She writes up this big, like,
notary's
2-page
involved?
document.
Holy
Two
shit.
notaries are involved. This big document freeing her from any liability from the possession and anything that happens to them because of the possession. If anybody gets sick, she's completely free. She thinks it is also being tracked by the government because it's possessed. So anything that happens because of the government and these people, she's also free of liability. So she has her notary notarize it, and then Dad has to have a notary to notarize the notary, so it's double notarized. And so he signs it. He's like, "Okay, sure, here you go. My mom's a notary, so it's no problem for him to go to my
Right.
mom over there," and Mom does it. And then they go to the courthouse, turn over the title, And the woman does
The
not.
courthouse, like, sir, did you know this van is possessed?
Do you
We
realize
can't do this.
that this van is on the registry of possessed vehicles?
You're going to have to register this in Tennessee. We don't do this here.
You got to go to another plane if you want to do this.
And they're going to check your catalytic converter, but mostly it has to do with the possession.
So when they're there, the woman then gets cold feet because she's like, I don't want to give you the license plate. I can't give you the license plate because the government is using the license plate to track this car.
Like that's what license plates are for, but okay.
But the court clerk is like, ma'am, you have to turn over the license plate. And they get into it, and she eventually relents, gives over the license plate. Dad gets the car.
So at what point did your dad go to this much trouble just
I think at one point he started getting amused
because
to
it was
see how
funny?
far it would go.
Yeah, because I would have.
So she's head to toe in black with him at the courthouse, trying, getting this van turned over. And of course, when he gets it home, checks it out, he's like, oh, it's a piece of shit. So he cleans up the paint, puts new tires on it, fixes a few little things on it, and then sells it. And he made like $500. But
Hey, that's good.
Yeah,
you got $500 and a great story.
yeah, yeah. Okay, it's pretty good. Very good.
I would love to see this contract.
Yeah.
Was it written in blood?
I do need to ask him about it.
Was it on
We need
parchment?
to read that on the show.
I guess he had to give it to whoever he sold it to.
I don't think he had to.
Yeah, you're right.
What would have really actually been?
I gotta be honest with you. It is possessed.
I don't know possession law, but I think he could keep it.
Ghost law.
Ghost law.
What would be better is if he just left it folded neatly in the glove compartment.
Yeah.
Didn't say a word.
It didn't say anything about it, so that the new owners would get it and be like, "What the fuck?"
Tucks it in the owner's manuals when they.
Yeah, like in, a couple of years from now, I'm like, "Oh, look, the owner's manual. I'll look through that." That's awesome. It's a lot of trouble to go through for a piece of shit van that he ended up flipping, but whatever.
I mean, that's what he always does. He'll say he wants to keep something, and he'll keep it for like a month and then flip it. So
I don't know. Van's a pretty nice thing to have,
yeah.
even if it's possessed.
What does he have now that he's going to say he's going to keep for a while? It's like an early '90s Buick, big boat of a car.
Is it a LeSabre?
I don't think it's a LeSabre, but it's something similar. But it's like it only had like 40,000 miles on it. Someone bought it and then just like didn't do anything with it.
Yeah.
So
Only one cat died underneath it.
it's only mildly possessed. Everybody knows it takes 2 cats for a full possession.
that cat didn't even mind. It was just like, it's time.
It's nice under here.
I'm not mad at this car.
This is my
at
spot.
all. Unlike that van.
Hate that van.
I will make whoever drives this sick.
Not dead.
just
Very, very sick. Your COVID boosters will not be effective at all.
That's what it is.
That's exactly what it is.
Cat possession.
Think about it.
No. Well, you guys been playing anything interesting? Anything else?
Let's
Sex
see.
hex.
Flip Witch, forbidden sex hex. I haven't played that one much this week. I haven't had time to do anything. And when I have had time to play games, I've just played Overwatch because it's my easy to just relax and play and sometimes get satisfaction from it. Other times, oftentimes none. But I do enjoy it. So I played a bunch of Overwatch because the season's about to end and yada, yada, yada. I did watch Guardians of the Galaxy 3 finally.
Yeah.
How was that?
I still haven't.
I can understand. I really, really liked it. Most everyone I've talked to didn't like it. And they keep saying how much better 2 is than it, which I felt like 2 is weak.
Yeah, I felt like 2. I mean, I liked it okay.
It was fine, but it was
compared
weak.
to 1.
Compared to
like
1, it was shit.
weak, yeah.
It was shit compared to 1. And I think it was really convoluted. And this Guardians 3 is a close runner-up to Guardians 1.
Wow.
It's right
Okay.
there for me. But I can see why. Some people told me it was not an appropriate movie for children.
Yeah, that's why I didn't see it.
I figured out why, and it's not what you might think, but I definitely won't let Cohen watch it.
Yeah.
I don't want to. I'm not gonna get into it because there may be others out there that haven't seen it.
I think I know what it is.
I will just say that it covers. It's all I think.
It style orgy scene between 7 children.
Correct.
And a raccoon.
Yeah.
Correct. And the raccoon. Thank you, Dave.
Spoilers.
Yeah, well, since you've spoiled it, I'll just go ahead. It does follow Rocket's backstory.
Yeah,
it gets into Rocket's past, and it is not pleasant. It is as bad as he has let on. It is as bad as it could be, and the reason why he never talks about it because it's too traumatic. And I can see because it had me going. There were I had to turn away at a couple of moments because it was just very hard to watch, and it was very emotional. So the only thing that kind of threw me off is because, how long has it been since the first Guardians of the Galaxy movie came out? I want to say it's been like a long time.
Like 10 years or something?
Maybe more. I'm going to have to
Parks
look
and
it
Rec
up.
was still on.
Someone's going to say,
Because
it was
Chris
this
Pratt
day.
filmed it, and then
Right.
had his Guardian's body for the last season of Parks and
Right.
Rec. So that's how old it is.
That's saying a lot.
When this comes up, because the internet is still giving us trouble, 2014.
Almost
10 years.
It's fucking crazy.
Everyone looks so much older. And that happens.
that'll
It
happen.
happens. Nebula, Karen Gillian looks weird. It's like she just looks strange. Tanya said she thought that maybe Karen Gillian was pregnant when they were filming this movie. And so that I could understand because I know a woman that I worked with a couple of decades ago.
Got real weird looking.
She did. No, she really
Guardians of the
did. Like
Galaxy.
at one point, this woman, when she got pregnant, she was like this tiny little petite, cute as a bug. When she gets pregnant, apparently her body just bloats out like a tick, and she looks like she has some sort of like allergic reaction going on, and like she looks terribly
I'm
uncomfortable.
allergic to babies.
And I had left that job and then come back. This is a thing I do. And during the 6 or 7 months that I was gone, she had gotten pregnant and was now, on the back end of that pregnancy. And when I didn't recognize her, when I came back, I saw her and I was like, who is that? And my buddy was like, that's Rebecca. I'm like, no, that. Who is that? It was weird. But anyway, so I think that may explain why she looked a little different, or they have different makeup artists or something. I don't know. But what got me the most was Groot. So Groot is now an adult again, and you remember Groot, right? The tall, super tall, lanky, skinny,
Tree Diesel. Yeah.
Shaggy from Scooby-Doo looking lumbering guy, right? No, and now he looks like Vin Diesel. He's short. He's about average height. He's about like the same height, and I say short relative to what he was. He's short, like the height of Quill, like my height.
Yeah.
And swole, like big, thick.
They do motion capture on Vin Diesel.
I think they did because I don't know that Vin Diesel can be in a movie. I don't think he's comfortable being in a movie where he doesn't get to flex. And I think he's finally had enough of just being the voice of Groot,
Stallone
and
syndrome,
they,
yes.
who was also in this.
Oh.
He comes back, huh?
Yeah, but he looked weird.
Yeah. He sounds
Groot
like
looked
he looks
weird. He was
Is he
just
pregnant?
He might be Groot. I did hear that Vin Diesel might have been pregnant.
Guys
during
do look
the
weird when they're
filming of
pregnant.
this,
It's true.
and they
That is
mocap
true.
him.
Schwarzenegger.
Everyone else looked okay, I guess. Just older, and it is what it is. It's fine. That didn't distract from the movie for me. It just was weird, but I did very much enjoy the movie. I thought it was superior to the second movie.
Yeah, I haven't even seen the third one, and I'm like, yeah, it probably was.
And I do recommend it. I'm giving that one a big fat 4 stars.
Nice.
And Sage says check it out. Had me just emotional as fuck, and I needed it. It was like the perfect day to watch it for me, and I needed to be emotional, and that got me in a lot of ways. So I was very much having a good time with that.
Man, the thing about 2 that bothers me the most is that it felt Kurt Russell was just like, it's just wasted.
Yeah, dude,
you know
don't.
what I mean?
It's like
because I got so excited that he was going to be in it.
I did too, and because I love me some Kurt Russell.
Of course.
Escape from New York is one of my hell yeah. It's one of my favorite movies.
The Thing,
Jesus.
Captain Ron.
It just goes
Captain Ron.
Big Trouble in Little China. It just goes on and on. He was in the reboot of the Poseidon Adventure movie.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I mean, he's just too good to fucking waste on a role like that. I don't know. Sometimes they do that, but this time it didn't work. And I just don't think Kurt Russell was the right fit for Ego, and I just wanted it to be anyone but him. By the time it was over, it just didn't work for me.
No, same.
Yeah, I want him to play, especially when they start delving more into the X-Men, to be Cyclops' father, the Starjammer guy. I feel like Kurt Russell would be great at that.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm trying to remember his name.
Yeah. I don't know it. But anyway, great movie. I also, just to ride on the coattails of previous mentions by our bespectacled host, I did start watching Scott Pilgrim Takes Off yesterday.
Nice.
And I'm enjoying it a great deal. I like it.
Cool.
It's a good show.
The studio that did Scott Pilgrim Takes Off, they're doing the Don anime. Because it got a.
I saw that I saw that you put that in there in the Discord.
And I am excited for that. And that was one where I caught it like, I think like 4 hours after it was announced, which is like for me very early.
Yes, me too.
I'm not a regular internet denizen. That's
no, I don't. Yeah,
I was actually, when I posted on Discord, I expected to hear that is old news.
Same. Every time I find something interesting on the internet, I never share it because I'm afraid someone's going to be like, "Yeah, that was posted 6 months ago." Because I also don't look at dates. So
well, I had to, because I was like, "What? How didn't I know about this?" You know, because it's like 4 hours ago. Holy shit! It looks good. It looks good.
I'm excited too, because you kind of hyped up the manga real good, and I'm excited because you always have very good recommendations that I like. So
I think it's going to be.
Yeah.
I don't know much about that animation studio. I thought they did a fine job on Scott Pilgrim, but it's a weird one to kind of grade them on because it's so.
It's already been sort of
stylized.
Yeah.
Right.
It's been established. They had to follow a template in a way. But I do like the story. I do like the way that the story is going, and that it is, in fact, not a rehash of the original. Clash at the Demon Head is also my favorite band ever. So me and Knives Chow have that in common. It's Metric is the name of the band, the actual band.
I didn't know that,
and they're really great.
I just know the NES game.
I tend to refer to Metric as Clash at the Demon Head just because they did the songs in the first movie, in the movie as well. And it's not just it's Metric with someone else, like a guest, like a singer. But the band is Metric.
Brie Larson.
It's don't think Brie Larson actually sings that in the first movie.
Corsair with Cyclops.
Corsair, okay, yeah.
But
She did sing.
Sorry.
You know, Brie Larson did sing.
Yes, Corsair did sing.
Yeah, my
Thank
bad.
you. Also, it turns out that Corsair is
I had to throw that in there,
Cyclops' father.
or it was going to be lost.
But yeah, I've really gotten a kick out of it. I'm in like episode 3.
I like how each episode starts because they each start with Ramona dyeing her hair a different color.
Yeah. No, it's really
that's a
cool.
nice thing.
I'm not gonna spoil anything, but there was a particular battle in this one that actually it got me. It was the one atop the tall building that got me.
Oh yeah,
I was like,
got you in what way? Like it surprised you?
surprising,
Same,
very,
Girl, same.
very, very surprising.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was really. I'm very into it. So yeah,
cool,
good
man.
shit. And then also, as I mentioned last week, I am continuing to listen to the Dark Tower series,
Nice.
although probably not as rapidly as you. I just got through Eddie's part in the second book. Eddie's the introduction to Eddie in the second book.
Man, I love Eddie.
Hard not
I need
to
to get
like
you the rest
Eddie.
of those books.
I got him. I'm set.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Yeah, I'm set. Audible had a thing where it's like $5 a month for premium for 4 months, and then you also get a $20 credit. So when I did all the math on it, it's like I can get through the Dark Tower series with this in 4 months. So it's like it's all good.
And you'll own those books forever in your audio library. So
They did, man, and they did. So I hung on to that $20 credit, right? Because it's like, well, I could get one book pretty much. And then like this week they had like a sale, Black Friday kind of deal, where it's like some books were up to 85% off. And it's like, oh, it's time.
Snag it.
Hello, $20 credit. It's time to spend.
Yeah.
So I'm good. I got Wizard and Glass. So once I get through, which is a very, that one
It's a big
that was
boy.
an expensive one.
It's a Garth Brooks.
It's like a 24-hour.
It is a Garth Brooks. It's a thick book.
So I got that waiting in the wings. I am 90% through the Wastelands.
Nice.
I want to talk about it real bad.
The pubes.
Me too.
I want to talk about it real bad.
I'm not going to talk to you about it till you're done, though, with the books, because I'm afraid I'm going to say something.
It all blends together for me. So yeah, it's hard for me.
I totally get that because shit from like the first book and the Drawing of Three are kind of like it's hard for me to tell what happened when, especially when it's not a plot thing. When it's like, when was that mentioned first? That's when I'm like, was that mentioned first at the end of the Gunslinger, or is that mentioned first at the Drawing of Three?
I think time doesn't matter as much.
Yeah.
As is true in the books. You know, I think that's part of it is being able to keep track of it all and knowing when, what, where, and how. But I don't know. I don't. The more I get through the Drawing of the Three, it makes me realize I don't think I ever actually listened to these books.
Yeah, you read them, right?
I did, but I had them in my Audible library, and I never started them.
Gotcha.
I think I got through book 1 on audio, and then for whatever reason, I never picked up with 2 and went on with the audiobooks. Because it's an experience I feel like I would have remembered, because this guy is doing an amazing job.
Is it Frank Muller?
Yeah, reading
Man,
these.
I love it.
He's got the accents. He's got it all, and that's not always the case with audiobooks.
Right.
And he is getting it. It's really neat.
Yeah.
But I don't think I did. I don't think I listened to these because I'm just now coming into part 2, and I don't remember hearing any of the stuff that he's saying, like actually being said aloud. I remember reading the words, but I don't remember ever hearing the words. And I'm really weird about that. I would know if I'd heard it before. So I think this is just kind of a fresh experience for me.
Cool, man. That's awesome.
I'm really getting into. And then speaking of Thanksgiving in the Dark Tower and all that stuff, we went up to Marion to visit with Gage and his girlfriend, and Miles came to Thanksgiving. My youngest son, I haven't seen him in like 2 years. And so we got to visit, and I got to hear about his trip to Japan.
I was about to, I was surprised that you saw him because I thought he was in Japan.
No, he was there for like 4 weeks, but he's been back now for several months and just we haven't talked. So I got to visit with him and hear about that. And he's got 3 younger sisters. 2 of them are twins, and one of the twins, her name is Layla, came with him. And Miles and I got into the obligatory conversation about anime because he's a huge anime fan as well, and he's really the one that helped me pick out some of the stuff I started down this road with. After I got done with Avatar and Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, Miles suggested you should watch this, and this, and I did, and that just sort of got that rock rolling down that hill.
Now.
Yeah. But anyway, it was funny because Layla is 16 going on 17. And she and her sister are both fans of anime. And I think it really puzzled her greatly to hear me having a very informed and intelligent conversation with my son about anime, because she started... Every time I would bring up something like I loved My Hero Academia, or I made a comment about All Might, or I said something about Demon Slayer, her eyes would just light up. Like she just couldn't believe that I was spitting this stuff out and knew what I was talking about. And it was just funny to see her. You know, we're talking about a 17-year-old girl hearing a 50-year-old man talk about anime that was just out last week. You know, it was fun. But one of the reason I mentioned the Dark Tower is because Gage has all my old books. He has my collection at his house on the shelf, and we brought it up, and we apparently we got to talking about the fact that they are still planning on doing the live action series for Amazon.
Good.
For this show, and the guy doing it is I'm drawing a blank on his name. Mike Flanagan, who did a number of he did this movie, the show on Netflix, Follow the House of Usher, that I mentioned.
Oh, okay, yeah.
He did The Haunting of Hill House. Everything he's done, I have liked. He's got a really great style about him.
Is it mainly horror stuff?
Yes,
that's awesome. That's great.
Yes, and I think his style will lend itself, because he's super about the finer details. He's super into the idea of staying true to the medium and staying true to the original stuff. If anyone's going to do it right, it's going to be him. So we got to talking about it, and Gage was like, "Yeah, I've got your old books," and he handed me my original copy, first printing of Wizard and Glass. And it was the paperback version of Wizard and Glass. And it was heavy.
The purple one?
Yes. Well, it's like a maroon.
That's that has like...
That has the picture of the castle on the front.
Yeah. And the orb.
Yeah.
And then the third one is just the mono or whatever, green. Drawing to the 3 is blue. I remember that's what I had.
Well,
vividly remember those.
So my copy, all my books are the first printings, available printings, not like first edition or whatever, but were bought new in the store at the time that they were on the shelves. So none of mine match. They're all bought, several.
Right.
So like when the Wastelands came out, you could buy the reprint of the Dark Tower, or the Drawing of the 3 and the Gunslinger, that were reissued with similar cover art up to that book.
Gotcha.
And then when the next book came out,
they did it again.
They did it again, and it's like there's no way. So all my shit doesn't match.
Right.
But I had forgotten how big and thick and heavy this book was, and like my version, the pages are all yellowed and like because they have been read so many times and turned by so many people.
Yeah.
You know, Gage read it, I read it, I've loaned it to a few people, and it's just it was like an old Bible. You know, like your grandma might have that old Bible that she had her whole life. It's marked up.
Yeah,
and
everybody's birthday is written in the front cover.
Yeah,
of copy.
exactly. It was like that, and I was like, it was nice to hold that book again and think about how much pleasure that reading that it brought me. So
I'm looking forward to getting to that one. I'm glad you got to hold yours.
yeah,
That's
me
cool.
too. It was a nice tactile experience to have that book back in my hand.
I wish
because
I had my set still.
I've read it so many times and I love it so much that this has been a really nice experience getting back into the Dark Tower. It was one of those things I didn't realize that I needed to do that has made me feel very good. So thank you for starting it and bringing it up because I feel like that inspired me to get back into it again.
Hey man, I didn't start it. I'm glad to be in it. You know,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
I'm really enjoying it. I'm really looking forward to starting Wizard and Glass, which I hear from a lot of people is their favorite. I know I've been warned that it's a departure, so I've got that going in. So I feel like that might help cushion any kind of
Because
like.
I read that.
There's nothing to cushion.
Yeah.
There's nothing to cushion. It's a great book and it fits right in. It just doesn't. It's not apparent as to how until you get most of the way through it.
And I don't know what that is, and I don't want to know.
Yeah,
until I
no,
read it,
absolutely no.
obviously,
I wouldn't dare.
But that makes sense, and I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah.
like it. That's some of my favorite stuff in the series so far. Is where I'll hear something and I'll be like, that doesn't make sense, but I have faith that it will. Oh, just got to give it time.
Yeah.
Gotta let it cook. Let them cook, and it does. Like it's never not happened.
Yeah.
So
I'm not gonna, try to. I want you to read it and take it as you will, and with no like predispositions about whether or not it should be your favorite. It just turns out that it's most people's favorite.
Yeah, I was a freshman in college when I read Wizard and Glass. That's why my very first D&D character was Eldred Jonas.
yeah,
So I want to go back to like 18-year-old me when you and I first met Dave and be like, you tell Dave he'll love that book in 22 years.
It was also just jumping back real quick to the Scott Pilgrim thing.
yeah,
I feel like it touched a lot more on the subspace
right.
stuff.
Yeah.
And it,
Oh, did it really?
Yeah.
I need to see it.
You know, I have seen Scott Pilgrim, the movie, probably 12, 13 times just because I love it. And I love the music in it. The music in that movie is probably my favorite part, but they don't get into the subspace thing at all, like hardly at all.
Yeah, all you see is just like them use it once.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In this, it was nice because so there's a part, it's almost immediate that Ramona refers to subspace as subspace, and she and Scott go through a door with a star on it. And at one point she has to explain subspace to people a few times.
Yeah.
And at one point she's explaining it to what's the girl, the drummer, Kim, and she's like, Kim actually says it back to her. She's like, you're the only person in Canada that's gotten that, that's understood what I was talking about. But I thought it was really cool because of your game that we played, your tabletop that we did, the Scott Pilgrim one. That made a lot more sense to me, I think, because of the way the game worked and all that stuff than it would have otherwise. And I didn't ever get a chance to really read through the comics that you had loaned me, and so I thought that was really cool. And when I saw this door with the star on it, I was like, hey, I know what that is.
Oh, that's probably going to do.
I've been through a lot of those. And
Made a lot of those.
You tying it back to the game, there is because every episode has a title. There's a title to one of the episodes where I was like, did you guys listen to our actual play?
Number 4, the Arby's Gabagool.
was it Ramona Rents a Video? Oh, okay.
No,
I
I don't. I think you're close to it, but I don't think you're there yet.
Good. I'm glad you mentioned that because now I'm going to be very closely watching so I can go, oh, I know what that is.
Yeah, I don't honestly, personally, I don't think I would have had to even said anything. I think you would have seen it and been like, wow, that hit a little close to home.
Want that? Give us that royalty money if y'all are stealing shit from Tyler's games. Now, come on.
Well, that I stole from them.
You stole from them. This was all original content, Tyler.
Scott Pilgrim inspired D&D game.
The unofficial Scott Pilgrim tabletop game.
That was all I have this week.
Which God, I'm itching to go back to that so badly. I've got the file I have of ideas that come to me is so big.
Is it?
Yeah.
What else we got? Anything?
I'm through Stormblood. Still playing Final Fantasy 14. Almost at 11. That was weird. Through the Stormblood expansion. Just finished that up today on the Shadowbringers now. And then I get through that. And then I will be in the current expansion, which is something I haven't been since there were no expansions. I haven't been current with the game since A Realm Reborn. So I enjoyed it. I thought Stormblood was way more interesting than the base original A Realm Reborn, and I thought it was more interesting than Heaven's Ward. They do a lot of stuff with Doma. There's a whole bunch of
that's cool.
Yeah, there's a whole bunch of stuff with, and they do it in a way where it's like not directly tied to the game, to Final Fantasy VI. You know, it's kind of one of those where it's like, they're making a lot of references, and it's called Doma, and it's very much like Doma, but what's going on here? There's this like whole like quest line of boss fights where this is old, so it's not really a spoiler. Omega is essentially trying to create the perfect weapon, essentially. So it's pitting you against like things that it's pulling from lore and fiction. So you're doing fights like the Phantom Train's a fight, which is like, man, it is one of the best fights that I've ever done in that game because it's like the mechanics in it are so fucking like kooky, but like in a good way. Because when I was like, how the fuck are you gonna fight the Phantom Train, you know? And it's like you're on.
I don't know. You got to fight Helicopter and Cliffhanger. And
That's true.
and there was another one last week. What was it? Or one of the games we played. Last Action Hero, you had to fight
Also
a
fighting a
giant helicopter.
Yeah.
So
But this is a train. Completely
that's
different.
true. That's true.
This is Choo Choo Charlie.
Stop. That shit terrifies me. I'm not kidding.
But man, the fight's awesome because they do things where it's like they'll split the group up on like the different cars of the train and stuff, and then there's a point where like the ghosts from the Phantom Train spawn, and like you have to avoid them while you're fighting because you can't fight the ghosts, you just have to avoid them. Because if they touch you, you're like transported to a single car by yourself with the ghost, and then you have to solo fight the ghost.
Cool.
So anybody in the party that gets touched gets transported and has to deal with the shit they're with them. Yeah, alone. So it's cool. I thought it was really
It is
neat.
very cool.
There's a whole season 2 of Demon Slayer is a haunted train. It's called Mugen Train.
Okay.
And it's it's a fucking haunted train with ghosts and shit, and they fight, and it's like for a minute I was like, is he talking about Demon Slayer? That's weird.
Yeah, I don't know what came first, because
Probably that.
maybe I don't know because I don't know.
Mugen
The
Train
Demon
was
Slayer,
only a couple of years ago.
but if it was based on manga, Who knows?
Yeah, that's
But I mean,
true.
the Phantom Train from 6 was from way back in the day.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
But it didn't quite work like that.
Yeah,
You know,
you were just
it was
running.
yeah, right.
Yeah.
There's a Kefka fight. The Phantom Train's like the pinnacle, though. There's an X-Death fight, which I thought was really good. There's a whole bunch of stuff that they pull from old Final Fantasy games and like do a pretty good job of like describing why. And then there's like another quest line that's all like Final Fantasy Tactics. That I thought was really cool. It's Final Fantasy It's more Ivalice than Final Fantasy Tactics, but they do a good job of like blending the War of the Lions with the other Tactics games and Final Fantasy 12. I thought it was really neat. I thought they did a good job. Stormblood, check it out. Unfortunately, you're gonna have to play through A Realm Reborn and Heaven's Ward, which are fine.
Right.
It's just, yeah, I felt like this one was much better. And I feel like the Stormblood's the one I hear people kind of shit on a little bit. So
Is that where the Ultros Chupon fight is?
I haven't done that one yet. So I don't know.
So you're
know
saying
which one it's in.
you're saying it's the Guardians of the Galaxy 3 of Final Fantasy that everyone shits on.
I need to watch Guardians of the Galaxy 3 before I can comment. But I feel like, yeah, I feel like the answer is probably yes.
Oh, I also meant to mention Michelle and/or Abby sent me what is supposed to be the Dark Tower reading order with all the references from all of King's books.
Oh, wow.
In order. So
I've seen this. This is an actual thing that I've experienced this before, and it's crazy.
yeah, 17 books. So the Eyes of the Dragon, then the Stand, then the Gunslinger, then Little Sisters of Illyria, then the Drawing of the Three, the Talisman, the Wastelands, Wizard and Glass, Salem's Lot and Jerusalem's Lot, Insomnia, Everything's Eventual, The Wind Through the Keyhole, Wolves of the Kala, Song of Susanna, Hearts in Atlantis, Black House, and the Dark Tower.
Mm-hmm. I've read almost all of those, but not in that order. But Peter, the ones he did with Peter Straub, the Talisman and the Eyes of the Dragon. The Talisman is a really good book to read after you've read The Dark Tower because it makes a whole lot more sense. The Talisman is heavy with references to The Dark Tower. I do recommend that too.
I'm gonna get through the series, and then
See what happens.
Then see what
That's all you
happens.
need.
Yeah.
Really, it's all you need
Oh,
is
the
that.
last thing
I've never read any of those. So.
yeah, the last thing I want is any kind of like distractions to like pull me off of the series.
You need to just
because then I'll
get
dunk
through
an
it.
egg it. I know I mentioned that last episode, but it's
Yeah.
like I don't want that to happen.
Nah.
Yeah.
I don't want to start reading something else, not be into it, and then like lose the momentum.
Stay with it.
But the
You're doing it
Wastelands-
right?
I'm a fan.
good
So
shit.
far, I mean, I know that I'm only 3 books in, but like the Drawing of the Three is really, really good. Really good. And I feel like the pacing in the Drawing of the Three was just like nonstop the whole way through.
Mm-hmm.
And I got a little worried. I told Nikki a few nights ago, I was like, I don't know, I'm not really feeling the Wastelands like I was feeling the Drawing of the Three. And then like in the back third
It turns the
it's like,
corner.
okay, all right, now we're back to like how I felt reading the Drawing of the Three. Okay,
It turns the corner, and
'Cause-
then again, when you get to the
Damn,
end of the Wastelands,
Yeah.
I want you to stop
Okay.
for a year and a half, and then read Wizard and Glass.
Thanks for the offer, but I'll have to pass.
After Wizard and Glass, you're gonna have to wait till you're like in your 60s to read
I think-
the last ones.
I read it at a pretty good time because I read Wizard and Glass, and then Wolves of the Kala came out whenever I was like a junior, I think. So I didn't have to wait that long between the next one. The next one.
Man, I got excited in the Wastelands when the party splits up. Because like the moment the party splits up, when they enter the place. I don't want to use any
No.
in case anybody's reading.
Don't.
But I get excited because I'm like, I know what he's going to do. He's going to do the thing that I love, where it's just going to be cliffhanger after cliffhanger after cliffhanger after cliffhanger. Because like, I know each one of these party members or each one of these little groups is going to be going through their own adventure, and he's gonna we're gonna focus on this one. Okay, there's a climax here. All right, we're gonna switch to this one. Oh, there's a climax here. We're gonna switch back to this one. Oh, I bet you forgot there's a third one. We're gonna talk about that one. I love that so much. Oi.
Eek.
Okay, good. I didn't know when they get oi. So yeah.
Oh yeah.
Hell yeah, oi.
Hell yeah, oi.
Yeah. Oi and Roland. That was it was nice. I like that quite a bit. And like I said, I'm not done yet, so I don't know exactly what happens. But I'm far enough where a lot of cool shit with Oi has happened. And man, there's so much I want to talk about.
One of the scariest parts of the Wastelands to me, one of the scariest things, was the description of the cover of Charlie the Choo Choo.
Oh yeah.
It freaked me out. Because I had a very similar book to that, like that, when I was a kid.
Oh yeah, totally, absolutely.
And it did, because it's funny that he describes it the way that he does, because I can't remember the name of the book I had, and I might still have it somewhere.
It's weird. I used to own that too.
What?
That might be my copy. I love that moment.
I threw it out the back window. Yeah. I remember that. I remember there being a book with a train on the cover, and it freaked me out when I was a kid. I hated looking at it. And when I read this the first time, I was like, oh, it was real. Yeah, we gotta make plans to sit down and talk about this stuff and get these books, our thoughts on these books.
It's tough because, like you said, and like you both have said, it kind of blends together, and it's like, so.
At this rate, you'll be done in a couple of months, and
I hope so.
We'll do it. We'll knock it out. I think we need to make that a priority, because the three of us talking about the Dark Tower could.
Oh yeah,
man,
it
be a podcast.
Could be its own podcast,
dude. And I have not been
January 2024 rebrand.
I can't remember the last time I've hated a character in a book or series as much as I fucking hated Gasher. So goddamn fucking much.
Gasher is a cunt.
So much.
Yeah, I know it.
So yeah, I know King does a really good job of that too, where it's like, man,
you just want to be able to like reach in and throttle that motherfucker. Yeah, I know it. We're almost an hour in. What do you guys want to do?
Want to do a draft, or do you want to do a lightning draft at the end, or?
Yeah, because we do have the movie and the game to talk about.
Let's potentially lightning draft.
Okay.
Because we have no content for a stinger as of now.
All right.
Stand by for part 2.
I do not aim with my hand. He who aims with his hand has forgotten the face of his father. I aim with my eye. I do not shoot with my hand. He who shoots with his hand has forgotten the face of his father. I shoot with my mind. I do not kill with my gun. He who kills with his gun has forgotten the face of his father. I kill with my heart.
And now for the movie and game talk.
Movie and game talk. That was fun.
How did we do that? That was simpatico today.
So RoboCop 3, the movie. I've only seen bits and pieces of 1 and 2. but I remember them feeling different than RoboCop 3.
RoboCop 3 is PG-13.
Oh, okay.
Because like RoboCop 3 was Orion wanted to. They're like, oh fuck, kids like RoboCop.
Yeah.
Let's make a RoboCop movie that they can go see with other parents.
Yeah.
And then I've never seen RoboCop 2, but like now I really want to, because when I was doing research after I watched RoboCop 3 and I was doing research on it for the show, apparently RoboCop 2 is like super dark, like really.
I
remember being unsettled, you know, watching it.
And I really want to see it real bad.
It's been a minute since I've seen RoboCop 2, and as far as I could tell, I never saw RoboCop 3 before today. I don't remember it, so I got that going for me.
Which is nice. So RoboCop 3 is a bad movie.
Yeah.
That I had a really good time with.
Thank you. I didn't know how to say it because it's like I don't think I hated it.
It's bad though.
But it's
like
bad.
It's bad. And if I would have paid like, I don't know, Nikki and I watched it together. We made a night of it kind of deal where it's like, if I had watched this movie in a different kind of setting, I probably wouldn't have enjoyed it as much. But then again, I don't know, because it's like there's so many fucking TV actors in this movie where it's like, oh my God.
Several of them make regular appearances on Law and Order Special Victims Unit.
George's boss, Mr. Kruger, is in it. Jordan from Crossing Jordan is Dr. Lazarus in the movie. Rip Torn is in the movie.
The guy that played the
Stephen Root.
Stephen Root is in it. And the guy that plays RoboCop, because they didn't get Peter Weller,
right,
is the dude from Thinner. Have you ever seen the movie Thinner?
Yeah,
it's
I didn't
that
realize
guy.
It was him.
Yeah, a very young that guy, but it is him because he looks similar to Peter Weller.
Yeah, he was picked because he fit in the suit.
Yeah,
it was down to two people because the budget on this movie was so low. They were like, we can't make another suit. And Peter Weller
spent our money on Japanese guys that can make really scary faces. So
yeah, and they wanted a stunt team because it was like, but they couldn't afford a stunt team. That's why like all the cuts when like RoboCop is fighting, what's his name, Odo, or I can't remember.
I don't know.
But
Udon.
Yeah, when they're fighting, there's all these weird cuts where it's like he'll jump, and then it's like, okay, well, we don't have a stunt man to do the jumping, so we're just gonna cut to RoboCop like looking behind him when the guy lands. It's so cheap, and it feels so cheap, but
that there's everyone's in it.
It's fucking wild.
Everyone is in this fucking movie, and I was.
Jeff Garland?
Yes.
Yeah.
The donut shop. And I was like, what the fuck is Jeff Garland doing in this movie?
CCH Pounder's in it. You might recognize her from everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, we covered all the main ones. Jill Hennessy, you said.
Yep, Crossing Jordan. That was a Nikki loved that show and watched so much of it. The moment she was on screen, it was like, I just kind of looked at her and she's like, yeah, it's Crossing Jordan.
Of course, Nancy Allen makes a return appearance and gets, blown the fuck away.
Dude, and I was so like, the moment where like they're standing at
you knew. They had the shot set up like 10 minutes
get
before.
Behind the bulletproof man.
Shit, I know. I had the same thought. I'm like, oh fuck, she's gonna die now. There's no the camera angle, the tension in the moment. She's gonna die. That's the moment of this movie. The guy that plays RoboCop, his name is Robert John Burke. And the guy that played, do you remember the dude that was the sergeant of the highway cops and Super Troopers?
Yes.
Is in this.
Really?
Yeah. His name's Daniel Von Bargen. He passed away about 7 years ago, but he was one of the main characters.
That's
in
fucking
this.
wild.
He was.
Who did he play?
He was one of the resistance people, one of the homeless resistance folks that was running around with Bertha.
I thought I recognized the main bad guy whose name I can't remember, but then I was like, oh, I'm thinking of C-Lab. Because he looks like... Because I looked him on IMDb, I was like, what do I know this guy from? Nothing, huh? Huh. I guess he looks like the guy from
God,
C-Lab.
he does. Looks like, the captain or whatever.
Bradley Whitford is in this.
yeah.
The guy that played in...
Listen, sweetheart. Put the chip in the robot.
The guy that was
what was he in?
he was in Billy Madison
Oh, God.
as Eric,
Oh,
his rival.
Oh, okay.
The one he goes against in the...
Holy shit.
And he was also in Cabin in the Woods.
Who did he play in
And the
Cabin
West
in the
Wing.
Woods?
The one that was betting on the merman.
Oh, my God.
That's him.
Oh, my God.
He's been in a lot of shit. But he was also in Get Out.
Okay.
I don't know if you ever saw that Jordan Peele joint. But
No,
he was
I
in
want
that.
to, but I haven't seen it.
But yeah, I was...
I like to get out.
he was the dude that shot himself when he got fired.
Okay, right.
That guy.
Right.
Yeah,
Okay. Yeah.
He was in it, which is cool. I was looking through the list, some of the other people that we might recognize. Most everyone else is pretty much bit players that I wouldn't.
I was surprised at like how much. Maybe it's because I am not like a big RoboCop fan.
Yeah.
But like that I enjoyed. Maybe it's because of that I enjoyed this movie. Because like maybe it's the same as like if you're not a big Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles fan, you watch the third movie and you're like, that was bad, but it was fun.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? As opposed to like being a kid who's like,
So
but like, I don't know, man. There's so much dislike for this movie online. When I was doing research, it was like, wow, people fucking hate this movie. And I thought it was bad, but like, I had a good time with it. I mean, it was like, we got done watching it and I was like, that was bad, but wow.
Yeah.
I liked that.
I liked it. I thought it was bad, and I admit it. But I also am not ashamed to say that I kind of enjoyed it. You know,
I mean, it was funny. It was
funny and predictable in all the right ways.
Have you guys seen
And some of
Mortal
the wrong
Kombat
ways.
1 and 2?
Yo, yes.
Yes.
Okay, so my comparison, thinking about Mortal Kombat 1 and 2. So Johnny Cage wins Mortal Kombat 1. He takes out Goro. Big, awesome. Everybody loves Johnny Cage. First 5 minutes of Mortal Kombat 2, they fucking kill it.
Right.
Yeah.
So RoboCop 2, I remember ED-208 or whatever was frightening. Like this awful killer. Like I remember being scared of ED-208. And then RoboCop 3, oh, hey, there's ED-208. I'll hack him. He's as
I know.
docile as a puppy.
I know.
And then just gone.
And that's what that's
He's
what
Luke Cage.
That's what the kid types in. Docile, like that's how you hack this police machine.
Look at it, docile
as a puppy.
I thought
I am docile as a puppy.
I thought I didn't know how to program robots, but it turns out I do.
You just need the right
You
connector.
just need a serial cable.
Yeah, man. When that fucking shit popped out, I was like, man, you're gonna hook up a dot matrix printer to that weapon?
That's a 9-pin serial port right there. And hey, there's a 24-pin
Yeah.
serial port right below
I got
it.
my Sidewinder joystick.
This is the future. The future is now. Yeah, we're going to put a dot matrix printer on it. Yes, exactly.
But that shit was like, that's the shit where it's like, that was so funny. And I don't know if it was intentional or not, but I don't care because it was just like,
Oh, it was great.
that was just, yeah, that's a great example of one of those moments in the movie where it's like, okay, yeah. I'm ready for this. This could be like this movie could be like Riff Tracks. Maybe it is. I don't know, but like that's something that I'd be interested in watching, just because there's so much in it where it's like,
Yeah,
okay.
it's easy to pick on. And it was funny though too because they did have a bit of a shoestring budget,
right? Oh yeah,
but I thought that they made a pretty good use of the budget. I mean, some of the effects were okay,
Yeah.
and the action was pretty good, and I mean, there was a lot of good camera work being done, as you said, with
better than Last Action Hero.
absolutely. They had to be. I like it when directors and they have to be creative. They have to find a workaround that is passable. And I thought that there was a whole bunch of that going on here because you could tell the parts of the movie where they blew their budget, and you could also tell
jetpack scene.
the jetpack scene.
What is this? It's the prototype jetpack for Robo.
I mentioned to you that I had never seen this movie before. So that when RoboCop gets into the fight with, I'm going to call him Udon, and Udon escapes. He gets away and he leaves RoboCop for dead. And they pan over and show the jetpack. And I literally, I was in this room watching this today in my office by myself. I said out loud, "Oh no," because I knew we were gonna have a really bad jetpack scene, and I was absolutely right.
Yes, you were. I love it, man, because it's like it's blue screened, and it's like when he flies over the people, it's like they're kind of cheering in the right direction. It's like they were being directed. Okay, RoboCop is in this vague direction. If all of you could kind of sort of face the same direction.
We don't know exactly where he's going to be in the final product. So everybody looked just sort of different, just in a slightly different angle than everyone else.
I love it, man. I mean, I love it. I laughed out loud, and it's like I could see like someone who loved RoboCop and RoboCop 2 and like went into this being like, what the fuck? But me, average non-RoboCop watcher, was like, fuck yeah, man. We got all these TV actors and a TV budget apparently. Let's fucking go.
And I guess like they built a failure point into RoboCop's arm for his arm to get perfectly cut off, where you could just attach a gun to it.
I know. I love that too. I love it when that shit works.
It's all being modular, Tyler. It's modular design.
Oh my God.
Thank God they had these failure points, so I have a perfect dock in my arm.
I'm so glad I'm not the only one who thought that. Just like,
wouldn't just cut it off and have like jagged metal and wire?
Oh yeah.
Nope. Just
trust
perfect.
me, man. A number of times you try to get
pop
shit
it off an
work.
internal arm. Like it's a real socket.
Well, I was also like confused to where that gun came from.
Yeah.
He had it a couple of times, and it never was clear where
it came from.
I thought maybe it was pulling like a morphing kind of thing where he just sort of and the gun is there. I don't know, like the way Batman's car armor works, and
right.
Just some magic happens, and now I have gun. But yeah, it didn't even really get into that.
It was on the ground. I don't know where. I mean, and I was like, well, I'm not going to rewatch that scene. I'm just going to assume it wasn't there. I don't know.
People just leave them around everywhere because they only fit on robot arms.
Right.
Well, and it is
Fucking
Detroit. It is Detroit in the future, which is a hellscape of weapons and death, much like
Speaking
it is
of
today.
death, the resistance leader, I can't remember her name, but Bertha, yes, thank you. Not to be confused with Big Bertha from the Super Mario Brothers movie.
Right. Or Big Bertha from Pee-wee's Big Adventure.
Yes.
Large Marge.
Big Bertha is the throw at Mr. Gaddyland in Draffinville, the game where you throw all the balls in this woman's mouth. And the more balls you throw in, the more the air inflates her stomach. It's the Big Bertha game.
You don't see a lot of Berthas these days, but if you ever do meet one, they're probably large women.
Give them a large bird.
Or old. Or both.
Or both.
Anyway.
Her death scene, holy shit, man. That was like, I can't remember what movie it was where I was bagging on the death scene. It was Judge Dredd, where like his like the judicial man, like that's one of those, and it's like, holy shit, that was the worst death scene I've seen in a long time. Bertha, like, holy shit, man, like they had no budget because they were like, fuck, we're out of film, because like it's like supposed to be this like she's the resistance leader. And like everyone's upset that she dies, but the way that she dies was like she gets shot and then she goes, ah, and then falls over. And it's like
didn't even get to make a speech or
Nope.
be inspiring in any way. She just farts and dies.
and dies just like
Yeah.
that, which I guess could be like a shocking thing, but it's like it's so funny. And the guy who jumps out of the window at the and then like he's like upset because the company, he's losing his job, and like he jumps out the window, and then the next cut is the outside of the building where they're like, I guess Otto is walking in, and you just see the guy fall from the building and ragdoll like style, and it's like, okay, that was a
I
weird
liked
cut.
that scene. That scene was particularly funny to me when the guy was jumping out the window. Because, man, you know, like when someone tries to like kill themselves by falling off a building, don't do that, by the way. You know, most of the time they'll just like fall. This guy jumped
Yeah.
and spread his arms and legs and just was like, I'm embracing this. This is, and the whole time his wife is on the video phone behind him saying, it'll probably be okay, honey. And of course, you see the half empty bottle of whiskey.
Right.
So, you know, the guy's at his end of his rope. But he just hops, just does a swan dive right off of the fucking side of that building.
It was so weird because like her on the video phone saying that shit is like that's a pretty dark scene, even though it was like done with like
humor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's so like in contrast to the long shot of him just falling from the building and then hitting like back behind the fence, where it's like, I mean, he could have lived. This is PG-13.
The thing, so at the end, in the final scene where he fights the twin robots, dun, 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 there's twin robots. There's this bomb in the room that was dependent on the continued operation of these robots. And when these robots die, the bomb has the shortest timer ever on a bomb, which, you know, again, running out of film. We need the timer to be 10 seconds. The timer starts ticking down, and the little girl and the woman, the Dr. Lazarus, had hacked the robots to fight each other, and they've killed each other. And the big bad, the heavy, is standing there saying, "You fools! Do you know what you've done?"
Like McTaggart.
Tick,
Yeah.
tick. You see, there's a bomb over there. And if you might let me explain, the bomb timer started when these two robots, because you see, he goes on and on. Meanwhile, the timer is like 8. And furthermore, 7. You know, and then he goes, everything within 20 yards of here will be vaporized. It's like, okay.
Very specific.
RoboCop straps on the jetpack again, grabs the girl and the woman, and flies out of the building and gets a good half-mile away.
Well, first he lights that dude's shins on
No shit.
fire.
Which is a hilarious shot. I mean, it's like fucking Home Alone, Kevin McAllister. Like, it was just like, what
It
happened?
did look like fucking torching Joe Pesci's head. Like, just,
It was exactly that. So we see RoboCop flying off into the distance, or towards the camera with the girl and the woman. When that bomb goes off, it is a fucking nuke.
I know, it's like the Death Star.
I'm like,
The
bro,
20 yards my ass.
you don't know 20 yards. You don't know yards, do you? Because holy shit, I'm surprised half of Detroit wasn't turned into a crater with that fucking bomb.
I thought the same thing.
20 yards
With the
is
20
like
yards.
over there, you know?
I think that might have been a special effects department. The right hand didn't know what the left hand was doing. It's like, it says what in the script?
Or they did it all without talking to one another,
Right.
and then it just fell apart. But yeah, I could not help but notice the fact that bomb was more like anything within 20 miles
Yes.
might be vaporized.
There was a special effects shot in the movie, though, that honestly did surprise me. And it is like such a mundane effect, I guess. It's when the Detroit cops join up with the resistance and they blockade the streets by upturning abandoned cars, right?
I think I know what you're gonna say, but go ahead.
There's a scene where like the captain is there, so like they're using the cars as barricades, and there's a scene where the captain takes cover behind the car.
Yes.
And as he takes cover,
Yes.
ding, 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 like 3 bullet
Someone
holes.
shot that
That's
fucking
what
car.
I know, right? That's what I
With
was like. How did they do
bullets.
this? Because like he was right there, and did someone
It
shoot
was-
it?
It is funny that you say that. I had the exact same reaction to that scene. I was like, I think someone shot that car.
Right.
That looked like someone shot
It looked
that.
real as
It
fuck.
dented the metal
I
and
know.
everything. And I'm like, man, is that a special effect or did they shoot a gun at that? Because it looked like it
Right?
looked real.
It looked real, but it was like, there's no way because that's an actor.
I thought I was kind of overreacting.
That was the
to
best
that.
shot in the movie. Honestly,
really
and I know that
was.
sounds like a troll, but like that really is the best shot in the movie
It
because I was
is.
like, whoa, that man could have died. I believed that man could have died.
I am shocked and delighted
Is that like
you saw
Baldwin in this
that.
movie?
right?
That you saw that and thought the same thing I did.
Does he think
Because
that man's his daughter?
There's not a whole lot more to say about the movie, really.
That's pretty much it.
We got it in one.
Watching RoboCop fight an agile opponent just is really weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, he falls down. Like
a
his
turtle
whole,
on its back.
His
you
whole
know?
game is just turn, face enemy. Enemy slowly runs and jumps and puts both feet forward, writes a little letter to his mom, is flying through the air, and RoboCop's just standing there, takes it right in the chest, and just falls over.
Falls back.
He just falls over. It's like I saw him catch a bullet earlier.
Oh my god, that moment was just so fucking like. I don't believe that. You know, I mean, it was straight up just like
That was
too
already in
far.
his hand.
Yeah,
he faked it.
phony. Although his partner, I can't remember the actress's name. You mentioned her earlier.
Dollar Tree Laura Dern.
I thought she looked like
Nancy Allen.
Yeah, thank you, Nancy Allen.
She plays Officer Lewis.
She apparently in that scene did not know that was going to happen, so her reaction
Of surprise.
of him holding the bullet is legitimately like her reaction to like, and I think it's a matter of, oh my god, did they really do this in this movie? Like,
They really shot at her face, and he really caught.
Wait
that
till we
bullet.
actually shoot at the black guy later. That's gonna really be
it's
surprising.
gonna blow you away. The director was Frank Delker, and he the reason I wanted to mention is because he wrote and directed The Monster Squad, which I know a bunch of people like, and
I just watched that the other day, as a matter of fact.
and Night of the Creeps as well.
Okay.
He and I also thought it was interesting that he was asked to rewrite the script that was written by Frank Miller. So Frank Miller, I didn't realize how deep rooted Frank Miller was in the RoboCop.
Yeah, because he's
universe,
the one
but
that did the comics,
Right.
RoboCop versus Terminator, that
Right.
we talked about last week.
I have a little bit of trivia about the movie if you want to hear it.
Please. While you look that up, I did see a TikTok about what a diva the original actor in RoboCop was.
Peter Weller.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
That there was
believe it.
one of the stunt coordinators or whatever was telling a story about how Peter would shout, "Robo want Oreo." And like
Oh,
whoever was on
what?
set had to go feed him an Oreo.
Oh my God.
And he would refuse to do stunts until he was fed Oreos. So like he
Okay.
couldn't like do it. So somebody had to like hand feed him Oreos and then pick it out of his teeth.
Yeah.
And like they interviewed both of them. The guy was like, "Yeah, he was a huge dick. He would do Robo want Oreo. No, do this scene, then we'll get some Oreos because we have to. No, Robo want Oreo. Robo's not doing this scene without an Oreo." So like somebody had to run to craft services, get Oreos, feed him Oreos, pick it out of his teeth, and then it cuts to him being interviewed. He's like, "I don't remember that.
Of course you don't.
No, that didn't happen. I don't remember that."
They were hydroxes.
one eye drop.
It sounds better.
Sounds better. It really does.
Well, speaking of Peter Weller, he wanted to reprise his role in RoboCop 3, but he could not because he was working on Naked Lunch.
Okay.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, right.
That's very different.
So that's why they got the other guy, John Wilkes Booth,
Robert John Burke.
John Burke, Robert John Burke,
Bob John.
Bob John, Bob Joe,
Bob Joe Bob. Joe Burke Bob.
The movie was filmed in 1991, but Orion went bankrupt.
Mm-hmm.
So it was pushed back. It wasn't released until 1993. And that does tie in with some of the things I want to talk about with the game. The game came out before the movie, which usually doesn't happen. And I don't know why they didn't wait. I guess for a lot of it, maybe it was like, well, shit, we're not going to put out RoboCop 3 on the NES in 1993, I guess. I mean, so...
Was RoboCop fighting these modern-day Asian samurais just jumping around?
Well, that's like the thing where it was like the game developers had like very little information to go on because they hadn't seen the movie. So it's kind of like this Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 1 for the NES scenario where they're like, well, okay, we got little bit tidbits. Whatever the jetpack is called in the movie, it's called like the proto-cycle or something like that. Does not sound like a jetpack. So one of the developers developed part of the game where it's like RoboCop rides a motorcycle. Because there's this thing in it called like the proto-cycle or whatever it's called.
Yeah.
And then turns out, oh, okay, so we wasted weeks of work because that's not in the movie, so they just scrapped it. It's a jetpack, okay. And there's like, in the NES version of RoboCop 3, it was like they were told that RoboCop, there's a little baby in RoboCop because it has the child, Nico, on RoboCop's shoulder with a gun. A pistol, but like it was like they didn't know how old the kid was going to be, so it's like this 3-year-old child,
Or remotely what it would look like, because like you see, it looks like Chucky, like beside ED-108, like this weird grin.
Man. Dude, I love that part of the Super Nintendo game when Nico comes out because it's like you're right. The sprite is like from a different game. It's like what asset? Where did you pull this asset from?
It's really
Adventure
weird.
Island or
Garbage Pail Kids? Is that a game?
It is fucking weird. Anyway, that's it. That's all the trivia.
But all the grace RoboCop has in RoboCop 3 does perfectly translate to the game because, man, is it weird controlling RoboCop.
Dude,
And
yes.
all of the sound of his footsteps.
Dude, the controls in this game frustrated me because there is a button that you use to shoot horizontally and diagonally. And then a complete separate button to shoot up. It's like, what the fuck? Have you played a video game ever? Like, why is there a separate button to shoot up?
I mean, we know how to make diagonal work in conjunction with the control pad and the fire button. Just do that again for up.
Please.
Don't assign it to another button.
That is so weird and a weird decision.
One of the most counterintuitive things I have ever run across in one of these fucking games.
That one to me felt like a CEO, not a game developer or a designer. That felt to me like a CEO being like, you didn't use all the buttons.
Yeah.
You used B, A, X, R, and L, start select, but there's another button. You didn't use it. Can you make it do something?
Zaby, you got to use it.
Right.
We get paid by the button. You don't know
As
this?
You don't know how video games work?
Just fucking what?
The unity
fuck?
of controllers. We get a fee every time someone presses the X button.
That's the B Wolverine button. DLC charges you 25 cents every time you do it.
Also, with the controls and shooting, we mentioned that you can shoot horizontally, diagonally up, and up. Can you shoot diagonally down?
Nope.
Nope, never. You can't.
His arm, RoboCop's arm doesn't move down. It has to stay like this at all times, out to his sides, like when he's walking.
You motherfuckers ever heard of a gimbal? Come on, hook RoboCop up. It's fucking bad. Like and you'll never need to shoot diagonally down, right?
Never.
How about all the time?
How about every single minute
All those red
of every
spiders
game?
that are coming at you. And
Oh my god.
It was bad.
It's a bad video game.
Bad video
it's
game.
a bad video
and not
game.
in a fun way.
Nope.
Like the movie.
Right, exactly. I like the movie. Yeah.
I like the movie. It was bad in a fun way. This game was just bad.
Just bad in a
I
bad
feel like
way.
I
the
couldn't
goal
play
was to
it.
try to move as little as possible and just try to pivot around and hope you hit something.
Dude.
Well, at
Because
one point it says they even say in close quarters your weapons are useless. So now you have to punch.
I never did.
Never.
I never punched. Although you can run out of ammo for all the weapons. So like your
God.
basic pistol can run out of ammo and it's just like you're dead. you're gonna die.
To jump the gun a little. That right there is where the game
That
lost
lost you
me.
there where you ran out of ammo.
I ran out of
On
ammo.
the basic gun.
On the basic gun, and I was like, nope. Power off. I was done. I rage quit this game.
I play
see
RoboCop for
that.
its gritty realism. I want to run out of ammo.
I even mentioned in the last fucking game, it was nice not to have to worry about managing your ammo.
Yeah.
This was in a fucking RoboCop game too. And I had that exact problem in this one. And I quit after that. I was like, from what I've seen thus far, it ain't going to be any better. It's not going to get better. I'm going to stop playing now.
It doesn't.
Before I get mad. I know. I watched a long play.
The
of it
long
today.
play like has RoboCop punching the two ninjas to death.
Yeah,
Dude,
God
Don't even
damn,
worry
the
with your
clock
gun.
is ticking. Each level has a timer, and in the long play, the guy is the robot ninjas are coming at him, and he punch, and they fly up over him, and he turns and runs at him, punch. He
Pivot,
flies up
punch.
over him, he pivots, he
The
punch.
most boring fucking thing.
It takes like a full 2 or 3 minutes for him to do this. Meanwhile, the clock, because the clock, there's a timer on every level, is ticking. And I'm like wondering, because there's no status of the enemy, because you don't know how good
Right.
you're doing. And I don't know if he's going to make it in this long play, because the clock is ticking quick and it just keeps fucking going.
Everything at 20 yards is going to be vaporized at any moment.
Any moment. It was a bad game.
One thing about the long plays, because I played quite a bit of this game, but I didn't finish it and didn't want to because it's a bad game. So I did watch a bit of the long play as well to see what I had missed. And I'm glad that they exist, but I do get a little frustrated when it's like, I feel like there needs to be some kind of commentary or like some kind of warning at the beginning of the video that's like, hey, I make this game look easy.
Yes.
yeah.
And like it might be an enjoyable experience. It is not. I just have practiced it and know how to play it because
Right.
it's like watching somebody do it effortlessly is on one
It's
hand
misleading.
I have 6 fingers on my right hand for the up fire button.
right.
One dedicated solely to firing up.
On one hand, seeing somebody do it so effortlessly is inspiring, but it's also like you said, misleading. I definitely prefer it when it's like done as like a speed run where you've got someone giving commentary on like what they're doing and like because I feel like that context is really important.
Like, I had to do this 100 times
Right.
before I got it right.
Or not only that, like, yeah, it's stuff like this game is bad, but you know, and they'll like talk about like if I didn't do this correctly, this would happen, and it's a huge pain in the ass. You know, I feel like a lot of the long plays, which it's tough because it's like, what are you gonna do? I mean, I'm not saying that they should every long play needs to be like have mistakes and shit in it because no one. It's nice to see perfect runs, but it's also nice to be like. It's also nice to know, like, oh yeah, this game was really bad.
At the end of the video, they need to do a super cut of them dying over and over and over and
the
over
super
and
meatball, like how many times you die.
Yeah,
because this is one where it is like, it's a frustrating video game, and it's frustrating in the way where it's like, okay, I have to learn this game in order to get through it, and it's not really fun to learn. It's not really fun to play, so I don't want to learn it. And the levels are long without checkpoints. There's a lot of gotchas in it.
Yeah.
Like the first time in the second level where I'm riding down the elevator and those fucking like red drones just come out of nowhere and it's like, oh, they hit me and 2/3 of my health are gone. I got hit once and 2/3 of my health are gone. And how many of these are there? Oh, 10? I'm not a fucking mathematician.
Punch them, yeah.
But I don't. Oh, are you supposed to punch them?
I don't fucking know.
Because I lasered them, man. And like, I guess one of the good things about this game is like, I actually felt incentivized to use the different weapons in the game because it kind of felt like a survival horror. It's like, fuck, man, I don't switch the. I got to use all my resources to get through this shit. The gun that shoots 3 bullets and angles, yes, shoot it. See what happens.
Liquor.
The laser gun. I also thought it was neat where the girl, Nico, hacks ED 209.
209, thank you.
And and starts fighting for you. I thought that was really neat.
Yeah.
Yep. The missiles are firing. Yeah.
At the that's cool. I like that. I also thought, but I thought it was weird that like
docile puppy shoot missiles.
Exactly. I thought it was weird that like the bosses that I fought were
they shoot them on your behalf.
Well, they're just still images moving around.
Well, I like the boss fights that I encountered were like just a bunch of dudes. Where it's like, well, it's not really a big boss. It's just you're gonna fight 40 guys.
Well, so like the one after that was just like it looked like a weird image of the 90s. The boss looked like a demon riding a motorcycle that's just a still image going back and forth.
Mag Rotor.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it looks like Mag Rotor from Final Fantasy 6. Or the jetpack levels where it's just, the still image of a plane just moving back and forth you shoot. Like it looked as cheap as the movie.
Yeah, because we did kind of fail to say that this is a running gun.
Yeah, well, it's an ambulance gun.
Yes, and for most of the game, and then there's also these
green
top-down, green ambler, GI Jogger. There's also these top-down segments where it's essentially like a vertical shooter.
Yeah,
where it's like 1941 or something like that.
Yeah, I got obvious 1942, 1941 vibes from that.
And of course, you're in the jetpack.
Uh-huh.
So it makes sense. Don't worry. I also failed to mention that the Super Nintendo game was developed by Ocean, who I know from doing the Jurassic Park games on the Super Nintendo and I think the NES.
Yeah.
It was developed and published by Ocean in 1992. The movie came out in 1993. Oopsie.
This was an arcade game. It was an arcade game. No, I don't. I'm saying it was like a quarter muncher.
Yeah.
It even has high scores.
Yeah.
They show high scores, and it's like, who gives a fuck? I bought this game. I'm gonna have the high score. No one else is gonna have high scores. I don't have to beat anybody. This is my game.
4 people live in this house. 2 people might play it.
And one of them is 4, and he's not gonna get the high score. While we're talking about the game and you sent us an interesting thing from about these games in our email. I got the rare email from Dave Moore.
Yeah. I rarely email you. I forwarded an email from Brad from Arizona.
Yeah.
Who took the time to
A lot of good info.
Yes, he took the time to go through, or he or she, could be Brad from Hey Dude.
Long-time listener, like Final Fight level long time.
I know.
It's a real. That's a decade long.
It's a long ass time ago.
I would like, if you don't mind, I would like to read the Super NES Pro review of RoboCop 3.
Yes, that Brad sent us.
If you please.
Absolutely.
And this is we got the Nintendo Pro review, the NES, and we got the Super NES version. I'm just going to read the Super.
Okay,
If that's all right, because this is a show about Super Nintendo games.
Although I'll say that I know the NES version got a lower score in Game Pro.
It did.
But however, I didn't play RoboCop 3 on the NES, but to me it looked like a better game than the Super Nintendo version. Because like at the end of each level, you got to like do upgrades on RoboCop, and I was like, oh, that's neat.
That is yeah.
But anyway, sorry.
That's okay. I'm going to read it. It's not super long. I should be able to get through it. We'll see how my eyes do. Super NES Pro review of RoboCop 3 by Videohead. Videohead says, the Delta City destroyer of evildoers is back, and this time he's on the wrong side of the law. RoboCop goes renegade in this Ocean of America title. Your task, should you choose to accept it, which is a Mission Impossible reference.
Yeah.
You need to not do
They're the
that.
same.
Don't mix our media. No.
There's a bomb in the movie.
Fine, fair enough. I will accept this. Is to get the mechanized officer of peace through the deadly streets of Detroit, fighting the rehabilitation cops, rehabs, and rescuing your friends, Nico and Marie Lazarus, from the clutches of the OCP Tower. Next section, slow but sure. The action's extremely cool as our pal RoboCop lumbers through the streets of the Motor City in this sharp-looking single-player walk-and-gun action-adventure cart.
Walking gun is very appropriate.
Walk-and-gun. That was a nice jab.
And it bothered
A little
me
bit of a jab.
more in this game than it did RoboCop versus the Terminator.
Same. Beware, though. Only experienced RoboCops are going to survive this challenge.
Plural.
Experienced RoboCops. It's like what is it? A club?
Yeah.
Do we get the little Orphan Annie decoder ring? Only it's RoboCop. Sound and
A
graphics.
faction of robo. What's the plural? What's the collective noun
collective
for
noun.
a group of RoboCops?
Good question.
A
cache,
machina.
A gizmo.
Sound and graphics combined to give RoboCop a jagged edge. When he hits the pavement, RoboCop's got to battle a bunch of extra evil and generally not nice splatterpunks.
Yeah.
They're actually called
splatterpunks.
splatterpunks in RoboCop 3.
And in the movie, they look like they would be called splatterpunks, but in the game, they look like fucking jacked military dudes.
Yeah, they do. And also, in RoboCop 3, the movie, more fake future curse words.
That is
My
true.
favorite.
Do you know why he gets set on fire in the movie?
Why he gets set on fire?
Yeah, like the movie magic version.
No.
It's so they can explain
Why his
why he
face-
looks different in canon.
Oh my
Yep,
goodness.
because Dr. Lazarus says I had to reconstruct his face. The burns were so severe.
God.
Yeah.
I didn't even pick up on that, but
Peter
man.
Weller, consider yourself retcon, motherfucker. Nice. I didn't know that. Okay.
Terminator style, you had to put together your face again.
Throughout the game, and in a terrifically colorful manner, the graphics give you a real sense of Detroit's desperate strait. The futuristic,
That didn't age well.
no, it did not. The futuristic Tin Man clumps through the littered city streets. During the later stages, he dons a jetpack to take on the rehabs and their tanks from the air, because
So-
that was a thing. I understand that anything I'm going to make fun of was not known by the game developers at the time.
The Tin Man, what's great about that is in RoboCop 3, he's called the Tin Man once. He also gets a new heart. He gets a heart.
Oh, yeah,
in the
because they
movie.
shoot him in the chest.
Yeah.
That's right. Damn. That's kind of cool.
It is.
Actually.
It is. And I love that scene where, like, he's like...
What the fuck?
He's like under the effects of, I guess they give him anesthesia. I don't know what they give a RoboCop. But
Starting off with
POV.
What was with all the women morphing together into one? Did you know?
I know, right?
It was his
know.
wife, and then it was his partner,
Right.
and now he's in love with the fucking doctor.
Is his databanks getting replaced with these
I didn't
other?
know what that was
I know what
either.
it
They
was
were all
either.
naked. I can say that much.
Yeah, you're right.
Are
Not,
you-
like, we didn't get to see it, but he did.
Outside,
I'm
on
still
the
a Robo
outside,
man.
on the outside, he's popping a fucking boner, and they're all, oh shit, you know. Not
We're
really.
going to need a bigger suit.
We're gonna need a bigger cod piece. Let's see. Don's a jetpack, rehabs. The crisp sounds add real depth to the action, and they're better than your average run and gun. Pro tip: don't bother to try to shoot or punch the bikers in level 1.
Homie,
Time their runs and jump off the
Homie.
crates to avoid them.
what I love about all of their tips about this game, they're all from level 1.
Yes.
It's as if they didn't get past the first level of the game.
As if I were the one that wrote this review. With a healthy check from Ocean of America's bankruptcy lawyers to pad the game and make it sound really good. Another pro tip: don't be afraid to swap weapons. Remember that? You just talked about
I
this.
know.
And watch your bullet count because it's limited.
Boy, about the bullet count, here's a fun thing about the UI of RoboCop 3. The display of what gun you have selected is in the bottom left corner. Your ammo count, top right. Is there a reason for this?
Because the two have nothing to do with one another. Clearly.
For a while, I was like, this is rad that I have unlimited ammo. Wait, now I can't shoot. What the fuck? And I start looking at numbers. It's like, does anything say 0? That does at top right. Okay. That must be my ammo.
Fire 1 is the next section. Fire 1. RoboCop also scores with its weapons and controls. The sci-fi cop's got a standard arsenal, including a single shotgun, three-way shot, a laser gun, and a missile launcher. The interface between you and the cyber cop is very tight and highly usable. You easily select and swap weapons via your right or left button.
That is true.
While the action may seem slow at first, RoboCop's actually supposed to slowly thump his way through the game's fantastic-looking derelict streets. After all, who can move quickly in a ton of armor and hardware?
Am I right?
Am I right?
The way they just like, it's der leak. The sweet der leak.
But you know, RoboCop moved kind of slow in the other game too,
Yep.
so it's expected.
get
He
that.
moved slow in the movie. It
would be weird if you were fast.
If you were fast, it wouldn't be right. So I get that.
Which makes it not translate well to this medium.
I agree. But however, I will say that in this game, what I thought was nice is when the splatter punks, put that in quotes, shoot you, it felt right. Because it's like, oh, they're not doing much damage at all. But they like compensate for it by these weird fucking things that do huge spikes of damage.
Yeah.
Like those red drones.
Those
where
red drones. Oh,
There's also these like fire hydrant things. I don't know what they were, but they shoot like RoboCop tracking missiles, and like those hurt you quite a bit too. But I did like the fact that like just a basic dude shooting you didn't feel like a big deal.
there's one thing I can say that I did like about this game was the fact that you get a pretty good sampling of what you're up against right in the first level.
Yeah.
And so it's not like misleading where I had put in a quarter to play and then get through easy shit and then I have to go through it over and over and over again because level 2 is so hard. They really start out bucking you over.
Yeah.
So you can decide right now if you want to keep fucking doing it.
Yeah.
And appreciate
true.
that.
It's a lot like the Last Action Hero in that regard.
Exactly. Pro tip: To limit your damage, crouch when you shoot. The next section is tough, but not invincible. RoboCop's challenging enough to put even experienced gamers to the test.
And RoboCops.
And experienced RoboCops. This one-man army absorbs lots of damage during his travel. Your only hope is to survive long enough to match the energy pods in each level. Reach. That was really run together in the justification. To reach the energy pods in the each level. The folks at Ocean even put a tough time limit on each level and gave you 3 lives with 5 continues. This means you're going to spend a lot of time right back where you started from. The downside? Beginner and intermediate gamers may find this game too frustrating. I wouldn't necessarily consider myself a beginner or an intermediate gamer.
I wouldn't either.
And I found it extremely frustrating.
As did I.
Next section.
Unfair, I would say.
Final section. Glorious graphics, rough ride. The bottom line on RoboCop, the graphics and sound are way cool, and you and your cybercop have no problem communicating.
What does that mean?
Controls. He's saying that the controls are good.
Okay.
He's wrong, but he's saying the controls are good. However, this classy package is tempered by a brutally difficult challenge. Some players will feel frustrated early on and find that RoboCop 3 crosses that difficult to nail down line of challenge versus fun.
Which is true.
Ding.
Yeah.
That's me. All in all, RoboCop's going to blow you away.
What a weird pairing of sentences.
It is. They're like probably spoken this one time and never since and never again.
Yeah.
RoboCop 3 by Ocean got a 5.0 on graphics, a 4.5 on sound, a 4.5 on control.
Well, you got that shoot up button.
Where else you gonna find that?
You get a fucking you get a point for every button you use by default. 4.0 fun factor in the challenge level of expert. This game available now in the action section of your video game store for the low price in 1993.
It's fucking
92.
$59.95. This game was $59.95, brand new, back in the day. I would have been so fucking angry if I had bought this game for $60 back then. That's a lot of money
today.
That's a lot of money for today.
What's that? $100 today?
$133.56.
God,
in today's dollars.
I'd buy that for
I'd buy that for $1,
which is in the movie.
It is. They have to put it in there. That's like the catchphrase. It's the one thing everybody can say they remember from RoboCop.
But it's so weird and shoehorned into RoboCop
really
3,
is.
which is a shot to the TV of him doing it.
Just on the way out of the
toy
scene.
commercial too, where it's the toy commercial for
oh my God. I wanted those
the
toys.
rehabs.
The rehabs. The rehab action figures. But yeah, this game was way overrated by Videohead.
Holy shit.
And it's also interesting that Brad from Arizona sent us these scans. What's interesting is, there's also an ad in that issue of Game Pro for RoboCop 3.
If you scroll down to the next page,
That's weird. I wonder if that has anything to do with the average of 4.5 score.
OCP is sending rehab officers to clear the streets of Old Detroit, making way for construction of Delta City. When RoboCop sees helpless families forced out of their houses and the bulldozers move in, he joins the resistance and movement to battle the rehabs. Armed with a new multi-weapon arm attachment containing a large bore cannon, a smart bomb, plus a gyro pack for airborne assault capability, RoboCop faces a battalion of ED-209s, tanks, heavy artillery, and a new adversary, Otomo. The odds seem impossible, but remember, you're RoboCop.
Oh shit! I forgot.
Just like all us other RoboCops.
Yeah.
Ocean, the name of the game.
Frank Ocean's video game company. That is.
Yeah. Yep.
So, thanks, GamePro. Thank you, Brad from Arizona.
Definitely. Thank you for that.
It's weird that GamePro didn't mention that, hey, RoboCop has a health bar and you want it to stay red. That fucking
That makes sense.
Totally. And like,
That's not at all in opposition to what we've learned about everything our entire
Ever.
lives, not just video games, everything.
oh, red is
Red
good.
is
oh, okay.
bad? No, idiot, red is good.
So I cut the red wire.
Yes.
Also, when your health is depleted, you might think that picking up the white box with a red cross on it might increase your health. It does not. I can't tell you what it does, but it does not increase your health.
God damn it.
It has E-tanks because, this game is Mega Man. So the E-tanks refill your health.
Energy.
Energy, which I get it.
But what's the Red Cross
Right.
thing?
What's that all about? I guess you can use it on civilians that you find, which you don't. I thought that it sucks that you can run out of ammo, but I also thought that the power-ups were plentiful enough where it's like, okay, the game kind of like getting through a level becomes like almost a puzzle where it's like figuring out, okay, I need to use this gun for this section, and then when I run across ammo later, because whatever gun you're using when you pick up the ammo power up will refill that ammo. The ammo is not shared across guns.
Yeah.
So it becomes a strategy thing where it's like, okay, I'll use all my tri-gun as I can in this section because it's really useful. Switch to another gun, and then later on, when I find ammo, switch back to the tri-gun to refill that ammo, which is fine, I guess. It's just kind of like if the mechanics of the game were better, I could see that elevating the experience.
Right.
Where it's like, okay, this adds some challenge to it that is cool, but it plays so poorly that I feel like a game that plays this poorly needs to be easy. I feel like that's the only way to win people over is to be like, well, it controlled like shit, but it was a breezy game. It was $20.
You're right.
Like,
there's no excuse for this game being at $60 back then. If it were cheaper and a little easier, there's some forgiveness that could be had there. But this was a cash grab. For the massive success of RoboCop on the tails. What is it when it comes before the thing that it's supposed to promote?
on the front tails.
Front tails.
Front
Got
tails.
it.
I hope that I don't know this, but I hope that the video games made more money than the movie, just because I think that would be really funny. Sorry to the people who worked on the movie. I loved it.
Oh yeah, no, it was not. It was an hour and 42 minutes long, and
It didn't feel like it.
I
I'm
felt like
surprised
it
to
went
hear
by
it was that
like
long.
super fast.
I'm really surprised to hear it was that
me
long.
too.
It
I
did feel
was
short.
It was great. I loved it.
Well, let's see. Buy, rent, or birthday?
This would be a rent.
It's a rent for me as well, dog.
Yeah, I mean it's not. Someone wasted their money buying this for me for my birthday, or me buying it. Money was wasted. It's worth a rental. Just even if you do what I did, which is play it and be mad that you just wasted $6.99 or whatever it cost to rent a video game, because at least you didn't spend $60.
That was most of my rental experiences
Yeah.
as a
Yeah.
child. Like I would go
That's
rent a
most
game
of
on
our
Friday.
reviewing experience.
Yes, it
Oh yeah,
is.
for sure. But I specifically, man, so many times remember Friday, I'd get out of school, beg my mom to drive me to the video store. She would eventually, but it would be so late that any of the good games are gone. And
Yeah.
it's just like, okay, oh well, this one, the box art, the graphics, look good. Rent it, put it in.
Fuck.
Damn it. I guess I rented it. I guess I just play it.
That's
all
always a
weekend.
good barometer. Is if it's available, it's probably sucks. If it's available at 6:30,
Oh, yeah.
it sucks.
Ooh,
no
yeah.
one rents it.
You're in the dead zone.
Well, top 100, bottom 100. Where do you think you put this on the list?
It's the bottom half for me.
Bottom half, yeah, somewhere in there.
Not like bottom tier super garbage, but
It's
yeah.
not super garbage.
Bottom half.
It's bad. I don't want to play it again.
No,
Yeah.
I thought it was way worse, surprisingly, than RoboCop versus the Terminator.
It was way
way
worse.
worse. Like if you were
Yeah.
to, before I played either of the games, if we do like a challenge or it's like, which one of these games do you think is better? I'd be like, well, probably RoboCop 3 is better.
Yep.
I would have been dead fucking
Totally,
Yeah.
totally agree with that sentiment. I would have thought RoboCop versus Terminator, that's going to fucking suck.
Yeah.
That's weird.
wrong. Right.
Yeah, no, I'm with you 100%. I mean, just see what Flopsy and everything. All your side of the spectrum, Dave, has to say about RoboCop 3.
What do you guys think? What do you think Flopsy has to say about it? I accidentally saw the rating, so I can't play. But
common 2.5 stars.
common 2.5. What do you think, Tyler?
See, I'm wondering. I don't know, my gut just says 3 stars. That's too high, but 3 stars. Uncommon, just because I don't feel like a lot of people are going to be attracted to RoboCop 3.
Uncommon.
Uncommon.
Okay. Let's find out what Flopsy has to say. According to Flopsy, a.k.a. the Ultimate Nintendo Guide to the SNES Library, 1991 through 1998, by Pat Contry, courtesy of Monster Mold Mike and a mysterious shadowy benefactor. RoboCop 3, 2 stars. Pretty
Wow.
harsh.
Okay.
for
Yeah.
Harsh for
Flopsy.
Flopsy, but
2 stars.
accurate.
Availability is common. Common.
Yeah. Well, all right.
An on the money review.
Yeah, I don't feel upset about that one at all.
Yeah, a rare swing and a hit.
Yeah.
Yeah, you did it, Flopsy.
Good job. We knew you had it in you.
We know it's back in the day. It was $59.95 if you were to buy RoboCop 3 today. How much do you think you would pay for it? Loose, on average.
$8.
$8 from Ian.
$18.
$18 from Tyler. Actual retail value of RoboCop 3 for the Super Nintendo, loose, on average, according to PriceCharting.com at the time of this recording, is $16.43.
Tyler gets the win on that one.
Is it worth it?
No.
I agree.
This needs to be sub 10.
It needs to be 10's my max, I feel like, on this.
I didn't think about achievements. You guys have any achievements?
I have
Got
a couple. Yeah.
What you got?
You want to go first?
No, go for it.
My first achievement is, what's it like being a rocket scientist? That was a line from the movie when someone did something stupid. The other guy turns to him and said, "What's it like being a rocket scientist?" I can't remember.
I don't remember that part.
It was
Is that when
it was
they're-
near the beginning when
Oh,
they're
okay.
breaking into the warehouse
Okay.
with all the weapons in it. Anyway, what's it like being a rocket scientist? Get halfway through the first level and give up because it's too hard.
Yeah.
I got that one. My second achievement is long. It is, I love you
I love you too.
for your pink Cadillac, crushed velvet seats,
I forgot about that.
riding in the back, cruising down the street, waving to the girls, feeling out of sight, spending all my money on a Saturday night. Honey, I just wonder what you do there in the back of your pink Cadillac. Pink Cadillac. And to get... No, I'm not going to do it.
Oh, man.
lament the fact that there is no driving level in the video game where there is where you drive a pink Cadillac like he does in the movie.
When he commandeers
the pimp's pink Cadillac.
Which
it gets fucked up, by the way, just really, truly awful fucked up, and it's awesome.
And it's
like
hilarious.
one of my favorite parts of that movie because that car is literally down to the frame, and it's on fire, and he's still driving it. They built him to last in the Motor City. So
filmed in Atlanta.
No pink Cadillac in this game though.
Was it really?
Yep, the police headquarters is the one of the Coke buildings.
Nice. That's all I've got.
I like those. I like being reminded of the pink Cadillac in the movie because I had forgotten about that. I don't know how I forgot about that. It's such a weird, funny thing.
It's just random. We got to have a pimp. All right, it's the early 90s. We got to have a pimp in this movie. It just has to be there. It's Detroit, for God's sake. There's pimps everywhere.
RoboCop saves a woman from being sexually assaulted.
Yes, she does.
As I assume he might do in 2 as well. I don't know. This
creep.
is a recurring theme.
She said no.
What's the line where he calls someone chum? Remember, I laughed at that.
Fuck, I don't remember.
No, you don't, chum.
First achievement I've got is Dead or Alive, You're Coming With Me. In order to unlock Dead or Alive, You're Coming With Me, kill exactly 50% of the enemies on a stage.
Okay.
While letting 50% live.
Dead or alive.
Next achievement. Dead Alive, You're Coming With Me. In order to unlock Dead Alive, You're Coming With Me, be in a video store in the mid-90s and rent the movie Dead Alive instead of RoboCop 3 for the Super Nintendo. And my last achievement is Dead or Alive, I'm Coming With You. In order to unlock Dead or Alive, I'm Coming With You, stand over an enemy that you just killed and press down repeatedly. And that's it.
Teabag them.
Okay, I had 3. First one's a long walk. So called Strago's Step Mine Fail.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear anything after Strago. What was it?
Strago's Step Mine Fail.
I just wasn't expecting to hear Strago.
So Strago is the blue mage of Final Fantasy VI. One of his lores, his blue magic spells, is called Step Mine. Step Mine's damage is based on how many in-game steps you have.
Yeah.
And I feel like with RoboCop, you don't want to take many steps, so he would fail at casting Step Mine.
Gotta equip that Moogle charm, bro.
Yeah, you're right. And you get that by beating this in as few steps as possible.
Okay, fuck
Right.
yes,
Yeah.
man. I love it.
My next one is Mr. Thou. You unlock that by befriending ED209.
Okay.
The last one is didn't wait for Shadow, as you kill the 2 ninjas before the timer runs out.
Had Final Fantasy VI on the mind.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah. As you do.
Good achievements.
Those were good. Would you like to play a game?
Yep.
Yes.
Previously, we talked
Global
about.
thermonuclear war.
Yeah, we could do an episode on more games.
Is there a game for that? Like an
don't know.
SNES game?
Probably not an SNES game.
Oh, yeah. That was like early 80s.
But I imagine there's probably like a DOS game for it, would be my guess. I don't know. I think Tyler might be looking it up.
I am.
We had previously talked about doing Alien versus Predator. Would you like to do that next week, or would you like to randomize?
Let's do Alien versus Predator.
Okay. Keep it rolling.
Keep it going.
Yeah.
And I don't have to rewatch. I will, but I don't have to rewatch that movie. I've seen that movie a lot of times.
Okay.
Lance Heinrichsen is in this movie.
I've only seen it once. I've got a story to tell about when I saw
He
it.
plays Wayland of the future Wayland Yutani Corp from Alien.
Okay.
Yeah. Fun fact. We'll get lots more fun facts about Alien versus Predator next week.
I'm trying to find. Let's see. So there is a video game called War Games based on the hit MGM movie for ColecoVision.
Ah, okay.
Ooh.
I got one of those. I don't.
I was gonna say, damn.
I don't.
To Alien vs. Predator? Okay. All right.
Yeah. The Super Nintendo game.
Super Nintendo game. Okay, good. You're right. It's probably the Game Gear version.
If you want to have fun, play the arcade version. If you don't, play what we're talking
not
about
interested in
next
that.
Tyler,
Yes, Dave.
if you were to give this game RoboCop 3 a beard, sums up what kind of beard it would be, what kind of beard would it be?
The glistening, angry sweat beard of Shang Tsung in Mortal Kombat 1 whenever he is shouting down, I think it's Sonya Blade. He makes this twisted, awful face that looks just like the ninja that gets shot
Yeah.
in RoboCop. 'cause
You're
he's making
right.
this weird glare.
God, you're
Dude.
right.
I thought that looked really good.
It
Yeah.
did look
Like
good.
I
It
thought
was
that effect in
creepy
the
as
movie was
fuck.
really creepy, and even like
very
looking
Total Recall.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. That's. I didn't think about that, but that's absolutely where they got the inspiration for that. But yeah, I thought it looked really creepy. Now, when you say Mortal Kombat 1, do you mean the original Mortal Kombat or Mortal Kombat 1 that came out 2 months ago?
You're referring to the movie.
The movie.
The
yeah,
movie.
The movie.
The first
Fuck,
movie.
levels, man. Fucking 40 tic-tac-toe. Tyler.
Yes, Dave.
Tic-tac-toe, tic-tac-toe,
Tic-tac-toe,
tic-tac-toe.
tic-tac-toe. If you were to give this game a pair of glasses, sums up what kind of glasses it would be. What kind of glasses would that be?
The bloody eye of Go-Go
Bloody
from
eye.
Kill Bill.
Oh, okay.
Yes, go.
In that the lifeless ninja people again.
Okay. Yes.
Because I feel like this was such a weird outlier for this movie compared to all the others. Just the weird super cyber ninja in it that's just super badass.
Yeah.
Man, that scene where she plucks the eye out, and like I didn't know this until recently, why the movie goes black and white at that point. Do you know why? I thought it was a stylistic choice.
Because of the blood.
It's a ratings thing.
Yeah, they couldn't.
And I had
yes.
no idea.
You kind of mixed.
Oh, did I
mixed your
mix-
movies.
Oh, I'm sorry.
She plucks out the eye in Kill Bill Volume 2 of Daryl Hannah.
Oh,
when
yeah,
they're
yeah.
fighting.
You're right.
But before, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Before the fight with the Crazy 88 in
Yeah.
the first movie,
Yeah.
it goes black and white so that the blood isn't red. It's water. But they couldn't have that much red blood spewing out of people's bodies and still maintain an R rating. It would have taken them into
NC-17
rating because of the amount of blood and violence in that scene. So yeah, he made it black and white for that reason.
I had no idea. I just
Yeah.
thought it was it's a weird Tarantino
worked.
style thing.
It worked as a stylistic choice, but yeah, it would have been rated.
NC-17
They had
Especially
done
with
it
like
all.
the what the dun, 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 like that
Yeah.
music like makes it feel like that using the old timey
Yeah.
what was that? Oh my god, what show was that? I can't remember. It's from God damn it, the something Ranger. Fuck.
The Lone Ranger.
No, it's not the Lone Ranger. I'll look it up.
Walker, Texas.
That's the one. But where he tells Gogo that she has AIDS.
Full blown.
I would love to see that in a deleted scene. Walker told me I have AIDS. The Green Hornet is what I'm thinking of.
Oh, yeah.
It's the music from the Green Hornet, which is an old show.
Yeah.
So, okay, that makes sense that it's black and white. I don't know why.
And they all wore those-
from AIDS to Green Hornet.
They
but it
all
works.
wore those Green Hornet masks too.
Yeah,
Those-
right. Yeah, totally.
The Kato masks.
Mm-hmm.
I can't think of Kato now without thinking of the scene there's a scene in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Yeah, I haven't seen it yet.
Where Kato, it's got the guy playing Bruce Lee as Kato behind the scenes, and he gets into an argument with Brad Pitt's character
It's really good.
Fucking funny.
Yeah.
God, Bruce Lee's family got really pissed off at Quentin Tarantino for that scene because they portray Bruce Lee as being a cocky fucking asshole, which he actually was.
I was about to say, I don't know that much about him, but I've heard that he was that.
You dishonor his legacy by portraying him as he actually was in real life. He was a complete dickhead and like really just absolutely full of himself. And in the scene,
I can see why.
Cliff Booth, Brad Pitt's character, calls him out on it, and chaos ensues. That's my all constant way of saying things happen that I don't want to tell you about without spoiling.
His dialogue reminds me of just like an interview with Steven Seagal.
Oh my God. It's almost as if they took an interview with Steven Seagal and made that his dialogue because, Bruce Lee was kind of like that. And he had the actual skill to back it up.
Right.
But
that's what I was saying earlier. I kind of get why he was that way.
yeah, and there's I don't personally, he was a fucking badass, and I got nothing but respect for the guy and his gift. He was truly one of the greatest martial artists to ever walk the planet, but he was a dick.
Yeah. Yeah, those two things don't have to be like
not mutually exclusive, right?
There's like a Venn diagram. There's like a 3-circle Venn diagram, like Bruce Lee, Steven Seagal, Chuck Norris.
I don't know. No, Chuck Norris has just one circle, and it says Chuck Norris.
Is that all we got?
That's it, I think, right?
Is that all we got?
We could talk about money.
Yeah, we
can talk about money.
I mean, I guess. Not my favorite subject, but for the show. Yeah.
No, I wanted to talk to you about your car's warranty. Patreon. We have a Patreon, and we have quite a few people who donate money to that Patreon every month at patreon.com/tadpog, or if you're really cool, pisstasters.com.
Taste the piss.
John gets really upset when you don't do that, so I got to make sure that you do it.
Do I not do it?
He said there was once or twice that you didn't, and he was waiting for it, and it was like an unfulfilled moment. So we have to make sure we get that right until we get tired of it.
I'm concerned. I thought John and I were friends. I feel like it's something that he could come to me about.
Well, he thought about it,
and
said that he didn't want to trouble you with none of that.
All right.
None of that actually happened. But he did say that there was one that you didn't say taste the piss, and he was hanging. He was hanging, and it didn't come.
I was
he was upset.
just edging him to the next episode.
You edged him to the next one.
It's no Taste the Piss November.
You can donate to the show for as little as $1 a month. You get access to the bonus content we have out there, and if you want to be known as one of our executive producers, you could donate $20 or more per month to the show. And I do have a list of people who we call our executive producers, and I'm going to read that list right now. Hell yeah, Plinko, Nick Price, Cubicle Monkey, Cthusiast Jeff Miners, Joseph Phillips, Gamebug Prime Nathan Eaton, and Matt Gentile, a.k.a. Gentle G, Louisville correspondent Princess Consuela, Banana Hammock, Flavor Trek, Taryn Dahl, congratulations on your marriage, Pinball Airplane Archmage, Chris Edler, we're sorry you couldn't be on this episode, but I am glad you have been posting on the Discord.
Yeah, it's nice.
Posted some nice information on the Discord the other day. Sandwich Pope Phil Hawkins, Drinksmith Joey Webster, and Derek Pope Sandwich. Thank you guys so much for your generosity.
Yes.
That goes for all of our donors. We realize that money is tight. Financial times right now are tough. Everything's more expensive than it should be. And the fact that you give us that money every month just because you like us and what we do, it means a whole lot.
Yes. Thank you.
I heard that Black Friday this year was like a bust.
Oh, yeah.
Like hardly any store. No, all the stores like had this huge preparation for Black Friday, like they had been for the last several years or whatever. And they were expecting just lines of people rushing into crowds and nothing. It was like crickets everywhere.
No, I've seen on TikTok where people are like going to like Target where it's like Black Friday sale and they just reach behind and pull out the normal sales decal and it's the exact same price.
It's the same or cheaper.
10%. Yeah, it's
Sometimes
like
they pull
awful.
the number out from behind the sale tag and the price that it was before is less
Oh my God.
than it was in the Black Friday sale. And someone posted, they're posted this empty aisles, but all these TVs, these giant TVs stacked up in Walmart and saying, why is nobody buying our $700 televisions? And then the girl was like, because cereal's still $7 a box, bitch.
Is cereal really $7 a box?
In some cases, it's close.
Good Lord.
Yeah. Buy the bag stuff, people.
Man, I would fail miserably on The Price is Right now.
You'd think he was
Let's do
lying.
inflation
You're
edition,
lying.
Price is Right.
They would laugh me off the fucking stage.
You don't shop much, do you, David?
It's just a banana. How much is it? $20?
Thanks to Dane, our backlog banisher.
Yes, thank you.
Talked to Dane this week. I guess he's got something in store, so we're looking forward to that. He gives up his time every week to put the show on YouTube.
Yep.
And frankly, he doesn't have to.
Right.
And that's really cool that he does that.
Yeah.
It's important.
Absolutely.
It has become very valuable to us. So
Yes.
thank you for that. And that concludes Old Business.
And now, flip, new business next quarter. Let's see. Our theme song is Moves by Sycamore Drive. A link to that track found in the show notes at TADPOG.com. Hey, guys, we'll close it out.
That's Robo.
feel like-
Did we do that? We did that last time, right?
Yeah, I think we did. So as
RoboCop played by a different person.
Played by the guy from Thinner.
Okay. Yes.
Or whoever. Pick whoever you like.
Oh, man.
Okay.
so until next time. Tropical Capricorn. You see the bomb will go off.
I was Alf.
I tried to do Scooby-Doo as RoboCop. It sounded like Grover, though. I think.
Rhubarb past curfew.
Better arrive. We're coming with me. Chum. TADPOG is hosted and produced by Tyler Holland, Dave Moore, and Ian Chandler, and is available wherever fine podcasts are hosted. Have a question or comment for the hosts? Call us at 270-883-2555 and leave us a voicemail. We'll even play it on the show and respond eventually. Want to send us something? You can do that at TADPOG Studios, care of Nicole Nance, P.O. Box 3785, Paducah, Kentucky 42002. Sick of us doing all the talking? You can join in on the conversation by visiting our Discord at bit.ly/TADPOG Discord or tastethepiss.com. Not many things are truly free these days, but our Discord is, and we'd love to see you there. Our theme song is Moves by Sycamore Drive, and a link to that track can be found at the show notes at tadpog.com. Thanks for listening, and if you haven't already, don't forget to subscribe to our show on your favorite podcasting platform. We'd really appreciate it.
Lightning draft. Something good to lightning draft. Fictional cops.
Oof, yeah. Okay. Yes. Fictional cops.
Please, how many of these are we doing?
Oh man.
2, Ian. Fuck. You go first. We'll do 3. 3 each fictional cops.
Mahoney from Police Academy.
Oh, nice. Carl Winslow, Family
I'm out.
Matters.
I'm out. That's all I had. I'm out. Okay. The cop that Carl played in Die Hard.
That was what I was going to do.
What, Reginald Bell Johnson.
Reginald Bell Johnson.
Ugh.
I couldn't remember his name to save my life, and I didn't want to sit here fucking lamenting it for an hour. John McClane.
Yeah.
Captain Holt, Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Oh.
Sandra Bullock from Demolition Man.
Nice.
I can't remember her character's name all of a sudden, but that's fine. That's how this works.
Robert John Burke from Law and Order Special Victims Unit.
Sheriff's a cop, right? Quick Draw McGraw.
Dirty Harry?
Nice.
There we go. Lightning draft.
Whee!
Believe it!